Hey, Yvonne here again for a guide on our Supreme Chief Tangtang. He is the missing piece of the puzzle for Cryo teams, offering lots of Cryo Infliction on top of damage amplification and respectable personal damage you've built for it. So today, let's check out how her kit works, even if you've probably understood by now, as well as how to build and play her in your teams. Like and sub for more Endfield guides, and let's begin. So Tangtang is our first Cryo caster operator after the Yvonne rework, and she is a limited 6-star one at that. Her main two scaling stats are agility and then strength, and her ult cost is the average 90 energy. When investing into your Tangtang, I would recommend leveling a battle skill for its high amount of damage contribution, followed by the ultimate and combo, and then basics. Technically, in a prolonged fight, basics do a lot of damage, but for fast clears you'll barely use them. Combo also deals weak damage, but we want its CD reduction in levels 9 and Mastery 3. And then, why is she so good? Well, let's check out her kit. We should start with her combo skill, River to Me, which deals damage and creates a Whirlpool, a resource used for the other abilities in her kit. Now this combo's cooldown is only 12 seconds, 14 if unmaxed, which is one of the shortest in the game. And to trigger it, all you need to do is apply Cryo Infliction or deal Arts Burst damage to the enemy. An incredibly easy to fulfill, strong, and short cooldown combo is one of the main reasons why Chen is so good, and it's the same for her 85 intellect friend Tangtang. So what do we do with the Whirlpool? Well, her battle skill next deals damage again and creates a water spout different from a Whirlpool. However, casting this also transforms all Whirlpools into additional water spouts. 4 things will then happen. First, you will apply Cryo Infliction once no matter the number of water spouts. This is useful for both Yvonne and Rite naturally. Secondly, these water spouts will deal some damage over time, and they have a pretty large multiplier. Third, Tangtang will return SP based on the amount of water spouts created from Whirlpools, refunding 20 per. Remember, this is return, not recover, don't fall for the Frontiers trap. And finally, Tangtang will apply Art's Susceptibility, an uncommon damage multiplier, onto nearby enemies based on the amount of water spouts. So if she creates 2, so 1 baseline and 1 from the combo, you apply a 5% sus. If 3 were created, this jumps to 10%. So because we don't have infinite SP, but also because of this sus stacking, we will want to perform ideally 2 combos per battle skill when playing her as a sub DPS in Yvonne and Rite teams. Finally, Tangtang's ultimate unleashes her full power and locks down enemies within a large radius. This is not like Solidification where it can be resisted by bosses, she ignores all that and freezes you in place anyway. This lasts for 4 seconds, but can be cancelled early by performing a dive attack, which is a basic attack after a jump input. When it ends, it deals damage and stagger, and cancelling it does a bunch more damage and a little more stagger. So not only can we set up bosses to take the full brunt of our damage now, but her talents give us an added benefit to the ult that reinforces her caster power. Now, when performing that dive attack in her ultimate, it will create a water spout, as well as consuming and converting all Whirlpools from her combo into additional water spouts, just like her battle skill can. This means when we have her ultimate, we have a costless version of our battle skill that can apply Cryo Infliction and the Art Sus from before. These water spouts also get a nice damage buff, but that's not too important. And her other talent gives operators haste and enemies slow near Whirlpools, which is neat, but I don't think I've seen anything actually applicable in combat that benefits from this. It's just speed and not attack speed. Now let's quickly check her potentials out before finishing with builds and teams. Potential 1 increases her combo skill damage, very negligible, but more importantly, reduces her combo CD by 2 seconds for a minimum of 10 at Mastery 3. This requires you to change your rotation around a bit to make use of it, but it can be pretty powerful. Of course, I still wouldn't recommend going for it, as she is completely fine at pot 0. We also get some extra SP return, which is not bad, just remember it might skew energy needs slightly. Potential 3 is a buff to our battle skill damage, which is much better than the combo's damage contribution, as well as granting us 5% extra art susceptibility from forming water spouts. Not bad. Finally, pot 5 is all about boosting up her ultimate with another straight multiplier increase, as well as buffing the damage percent buff that the water spouts from her ultimate get. Anyways, onto builds, let's talk gear. Her de facto set will be Bone Crusher, offering us a strong attack percent stat line on top of damage percent to her battle skills, which is an ability that contributes about half but also sometimes nearly all of our damage on Tangtang. The new gear pieces are perfectly made for her too, how convenient, with Bone Crusher wristband tier 1 and 2 Bone Crusher mask tier 2s being our go-to choice to complete the set. For the armor, you would use Bone Crusher Heavy Armor Tier 2 for damage. In cases where your battle skill makes up most of your damage, then swapping gloves to MI Security ones is an upgrade, but I prefer the generic comfort of the wristband Tier 1's cryo damage. Also, if using her with Last Rite, I actually recommend the new Yinglong Heavy Armor Tier 1, which means we need to use Bone Crusher Wristband Tier 1 for the full set bonus anyway. Last Rite and Tangtang both return SP, which hurts our 6.5 energy per 100 SP gains quite substantially. In standard rotations, she will want a bit of extra energy to hit an ultimate in time for Last Rite's full combo wombo. Now, Tangtang can deal decent damage, but like with past units that could deal decent damage, sometimes your main carry doesn't need that and instead needs you to be on your A game and ult for them instead exactly when they want. So Tangtang can alternatively run Eternal Zero Night for its ult gain efficiency pieces, but also since she is applying sus on battle skills and ultimates anyway, she can easily keep its effect up during burst windows, so you're not losing out on the set bonus. If you don't have her signature, you lose out on a bunch of her personal damage anyway, so Zero Night becomes more favorable in that case. You can run full ult gain or drop a piece like the armor for damage if you have too much. The difference between these two sets can be explained with Last Rite setups. With full ult gain, Tangtang can perform an ultimate every Last Rite ultimate, meaning you can apply your cryo and sus without any SP from Tangtang. With the Bone Crusher set, Tangtang can perform an ultimate every 2 Last Rite ultimates, meaning every other rotation you have to use SP on Tangtang, but it will be refunded slightly. For Yvonne setups, it's about ulting every Yvonne ult on Tangtang or not as well. Now, because Ari Crisis maxes out your ultimates, I think I'd recommend Bone Crusher for bosses and farming so Tangtang can help you clear as fast as possible with her damage. But in Umbral Monument, I'd recommend the ult gain set, at least for when it gets harder, because you want to set up your team more than do a bit more Tangtang damage. For main DPS Tangtang, if you're one of those cool people, Tangtang will opt for Bone Crusher armor, gloves, a kit, and then the classic Link Slab. Link Slab is a small upgrade, but only when everything is maxed out due to how the main attribute percent scales, so until then, feel free to use 2 Bone Zone kits instead. Anyways, sets and gear are constantly changing in this game, and it makes me want to cry, so just remember this could change and I'll update it in the pinned comment if so. Now for weapons, we only have one supportive option, and that is her brand new signature, Brigand's Calling, which offers Tangtang a noticeable boost to her personal damage whilst also helping out the team with another uncommon multiplier in damage taken. It doesn't really have a flaw, but I wouldn't say you need it for Sub DPS teams since the most impactful part is the damage taken loss, which doesn't end up being that bad in reality. For a main DPS Tangtang, you'd lose a lot without it though. Her Battle Pass weapon instead goes all in on her damage, but still falls off in personal power compared to the signature since we lose the large 39% attack stat as well as the damage taken. It is still just fine to use though, especially if playing Sub DPS and especially if on Zero Night, since her damage contribution won't matter much at all. Finally, OBJ Velocitus can be used for the ult gain setups, but you'll be foregoing a lot of Tangtang's damage, and again it provides no buffs, so you could just instead use a damage gun and run Zero Night for more team amplification. But now we can finally talk about those teams and setups that I keep mentioning. Tangtang helps Yvonne out a lot thanks to several reasons. One, her AoE application and damage helps versus Yvonne's mostly single target focus. Her interruption on ult helps avoid Yvonne whiffing her own abilities. Her instant cryo on battle skill helps jumpstart Yvonne's originally slow rotations, and of course being a strong cryo apply is perfect for Yvonne's kit. And finally, her sub DPS damage can be pretty nice versus her previous setup of 3 full supportive builds. You can do a 1+3 or a 1+4 cryo setup with them. Either way, you are starting with Tangtang battle skill and Zhahi battle skill into Tangtang combo, Yvonne battle skill consuming the first infliction, final strikes for Zhahi combo, Zhahi battle skill again, Tangtang second combo, Tangtang battle skill, and then during this you are performing final strikes for Zhahi's combo for the third infliction. From here, you either deviate to a 1+4 or you perform a 1+3. 1+3 means Yvonne will need some ult gain obtained by running 3 MI security and the new Frontiers ult gain armor piece. 1+4 means Yvonne will not need ult gain, but this means you need Tangtang to ult here for the 4th cryo stack, and this means Tangtang needs a ton of ult gain, which is where the full Zero Night setup comes into play. So it's the choice between losing Yvonne damage from going ult gain and losing Link Slab, to losing Tangtang damage and building full ult gain. Depends on what you need, and I'm not actually sure which is best yet, since in calcs either can win right now. As for Last Rite, we have similar benefits from Tangtang. AoE is a big problem for Last Rite, so thank you Supreme Chief. Her fast cryo application is such a nice bonus compared to the sluggish application from Last Rite and Zhahi. And again, sub DPS damage is nice for finishing off some foes, so Last Rite can focus on the big stuff instead. Finally, Last Rite multiplies the effect of Cryo's susceptibility on her ult's damage, but this also works for arts-based ones, meaning Tangtang's buffing power gets a very small but nice extra boost. The setup is just like the previous hypercarry setup but lighter on SP usage. It's faster, it's comfier, and all you gotta do is replace a Last Rite skill here and there with Tangtang instead. For a 3+4 Last Rite setup, you do Jahi battle skill, Tangtang combo, Last Rite 2 battle skills into final strikes, combo, then the same thing again but with a Tangtang battle skill. This will be an ultimate in Last Rite's second rotation. Palico combo should be activated before Last Rite's combos as well as combo into ultimates. If running Zero Night Tangtang, you can instead replace Tangtang's battle skill with an ultimate every Last Rite ultimate rotation, saving on SP, but again, losing Tangtang damage. And as for main DPS Tangtang, it's actually pretty neat, as because we don't need the Cryo stacks to do anything in our kit, unlike Yvonne and Last Rite, we can instead use her excellent Cryo Infliction stacking to activate insanely powerful reactions, with Gilberta offering Corrosion or Palica offering Electrification, getting even stronger with Art's intensity on them. We ideally run Jahi Gilberta Palica as the premier hypercarry full scented composition, offering us by far the largest amount of amplification for our Supreme Chief. You will stack up your Cryo with combos into battle skills as well as Jahi battle skills into combos, and again, we don't consume them with our main DPS, so that lets us proc Corrosion with Gilberta. We still get her combo thanks to the insanely awesome Palica, but also from this Corrosion, and then we can ult with the other Cryo Inflictions synced up with Tangtang's ultimate to refresh the Corrosion's duration and get a massive bomber. If you don't have Gilberta, then the other two options would either be Akakuri for skill points or Ardelia for amplification. I think I'd prefer Akakuri since we can still consume the Cryo stacks with Palica's battle skill for electrification anyway, and we might as well get comfy with SP, whereas Ardelia has the reverse where we need more SP to use her. Anyways, that's all of my Cryo friend Tangtang today, and if you enjoyed this late guide, feel free to like and sub to help me out. Thank you so much for watching and have a guoba day.